I just turned 40, and as I think about myself as a leader, I have evolved in ways that I never thought I could imagine. Here are 7 things that I have learned about my leadership that I want to continue to level up.
This is the Unleash Your Purpose podcast.
I was meeting with a lot of my executive staff this last week and kind of reflecting on all of the change and the battle wounds that we have worked through together. And one of the coolest things that I had a chance is they talked about how I have changed and evolved as a leader, and they have gotten better, and they reflected that as I have gotten better, it's helped them level up too. So as I now am 40 years old and looking for this next decade and this next season within our organization, here are 7 things that I have learned about my leadership that I want to continue to level up. Number 1 is I'm going to step over the offense. What I mean by that is in business, as you get higher up the ranks in leadership, there is always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that not just disagree, but can throw shade or throw some type of hate your way. If it's on social media or a Yelp review, I could give you countless Yelp and Google reviews from an employee that was frustrated or a person who had a personal attack. And the hardest ones are when they're totally false. And me, naturally, on the Enneagram, I'm an 8, which is a challenger and a fighter, and I want to defend myself and fight for justice. So if someone says something wrong, I want to fight and defend myself. But what I'm learning in leadership, it's sometimes way better to just be quiet, is to be still, and to what I say is step over the offense. I have had to come to the place or I don't have to defend myself. And I know that I used to be miserable. I would have a person that would make a personal attack with me. Maybe it was a friend or a business partner, and I would ruminate and think about it. You've been there, right? Where you have this person that says something and you just plan out your conversation that you'll never have with that person. But we plan out what you're going to say, and it just haunts you. And what it does is it steals my peace and steals my joy. And for me, I am learning the phrase to say that it's not about me. Many times when there's a personal attack, that person is miserable themselves. And I have to say to myself, one of the best things I have learned, it's not about me. When that attack comes, it's not about me. When they are complaining about that there isn't this offering within the organization, it's not about me. So for me, learning number 1 is that I am going to step over the offense. Number 2 is that there's power in kindness. Having a very large team is I cannot individually serve and help every single person, but when I am present with my team, my mantra is do for one which I wish I could do for many. Practicing kindness and practice in helping others changes things. I was at a big leadership meeting and I got done giving a talk and a presentation, and I have this young staff who went through our leadership academy, and she was moving across the country. In that moment, I could have said, all right, hey, good luck to you. And she just had tears in her eyes, and I looked at her and I pulled her aside and says, hey, you are going to make the biggest impact in your next organization. You have grown so much tremendously as a leader. And I tried to just speak life into her in that 45 seconds. And those are small things that actually end up becoming big things. And I remember when I was a 22-year-old person in an organization trying to figure out life, if I had the CEO tell me that would be a game changer. So never be too busy to spread kindness. Number 3 is I will relentlessly and ruthlessly protect my energy and my time from negative people. There is people who are bloodsuckers of your energy. My biggest commodity is my time and my energy and my focus. And I have probably get 10 to 15 emails a week of people like, can I pick your brain, or can I get coffee with you? And that is great. And I wish I could, but I do not have the time or energy to that. My schedule is already full. So for me, I have to protect myself and my energy and my time. And then also I need to, the people who are negative in my life, they are like a cancer to my soul. Misery loves company, or bad company corrupts good character. And if I surround myself with people who are negative, what do I feel? When they are trying to gossip or talk negative or woe is me, it just brings me down. And I am not going to have it. I can't have it in my organization. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves. So if someone's not positive or having attitude, it's just not going to work. So I'm going to continue to ruthlessly protect my energy from those negative people. The next one is that patience is always better than haste. Kind of fits with stepping over the offense, but patience is better than haste. In business, sometimes the most patient individual ends up winning. Most time, the one who has the most time ends up having the most leverage. When you're trying to get a deal done, the one who's quickly and trying to make things happen tends to be more desperate, tends to make a mistake. Or when it comes to hiring, I used to have to hire so quickly and I ended up regretting it. Now when I have to hire for a key position, there is many steps in the process. The urgency is becoming less and less because there is power when being methodical and having a process to do things. And so for me, I'm just always going and action oriented. But what I am learning is that patience many times will serve me better than haste. Learning number 5 is that I am doing less and delegating more. I am learning that I have to delegate not just the responsibility of a task, but also the authority to make the decision. I am trying to push down as many decisions as possible to the organization so they can kind of rise up. Because when they can make the decision, they take ownership of that and ends up becoming part of who they are. For so often, any leader, what you'll see is the people coming, they always have you asking for advice. Hey, what do you think I should do here? What scenario should I take here? And what you have to do as a strong leader is you have to force them to make that decision. So my favorite thing is like when someone comes to me and asks me, what do you think? When I ask them that question, it forces them to have to think through it, and it makes them make that decision. So that for me is one of the most powerful things. Another thing that is powerful to say is when someone has to make a decision and I say, you decide. And the amount of things that I delegate now, people's minds sometimes are blown. If it's budgets and new hires and a decision about what direction to go, what to do for an office. I just got off a call and someone on my team told me that, hey, we have to close the office down for this construction. Knew nothing about it. Great, it was taken care of. Do less, delegate more. Leadership lesson number 6, don't be too busy for God conversations. Best part of my work is that I can integrate my life and my faith in everything that I do. And I can never get too busy that I don't have the opportunity to be able to share my faith and have those moments to catch up with a staff. So often I'm in a rush to go to meeting to meeting to meeting that I can blow over people. And in today's workplace, people bring their whole selves to work. They don't just come in just for performance and just to do the job at hand, but they bring in their family stuff and their life. And I'm not trying to be their therapist, but I am trying to be human next to them. I'm trying to be Jesus in the flesh, Jesus in the skin with them by being present with them and asking and checking in about how their life is going. So I will continue to be making those moments to check in with my staff and embrace those moments with each of them. And number 7 of a leadership lesson I learned is I'm going to narrow my focus to broaden my impact. I've said this before in another podcast that a mentor told me this a while ago that, Ryan, you're doing so many things and so many great things and I loved it and I'm so excited about these. But Ryan, in order to make the biggest impact, you have to be laser focused. You have to be able to go deep and down and do the work that you're called to do and not be so divided. So what I'm doing is I'm narrowing my focus. We just finished this book as a leadership team called Essentialism, and it's talking about what are the key things that only you can do, and then be able to delegate the rest out. Be able to focus on the things that only you can own and be a part of, and then everything else you need to give to your team. And so for me, my focus is the vision, is the expansion, is stewarding the culture and developing content for our team. So for me, I'm going to continue to narrow my focus in order to broaden my impact. And guess what? This next decade of my leadership, my hope is to level up to the next one. And I cannot wait what God has in store for our organization.